out the hand, switch, shooters on swoosh, hitters don't miss. Already just added a ton of y'all to my list. Bitch, death wish, not to be messed with, tested quiz. They shooting shots, hitting bricks, we testing the kids.
Hey, Deep Thrones family, Sheedy here. Just wanted to do a quick, for our YouTube-only breakdown of the House of the Dragon Season 3 final trailer. It was released Friday, May 29th. The final season of House of the Dragon starts Sunday, June 21st. It will be an 8-episode season. Looking at this trailer, I'll let you know this off the jump. The Deep Thrones pod is very excited. We think it's showing a lot of promise. They're introducing some very cool characters. They're giving us Dark Rhaenyra, it looks like. Maybe we'll see how the show actually does it. Again, this is all based on 1.5 to 2 minute long trailers. But we need that. We need a little edgy Rhaenyra in Season 3. We'll get into all that. There will be no spoilers in this breakdown. I am just discussing the things that we are clearly seeing. If something is evident and I say that looks like that's what's happening, it's just, we'll see it in the trailer, right? Again, we are very excited. We'll be there every step of the way covering it. Join us June 21st and every episode after to discuss House of the Dragon. We're going to have one episode before June 21st, just kind of breaking down where we stand with House of the Dragon. Maybe take a look at A Night of the Seven Kingdoms as well. And then, of course, the season will end with the Thronies. So I think 10 episodes of Deep Thrones for 8 episodes of House of the Dragon. Not bad. And again, I thank you for joining us for that and for this. So let's get into it. I'm just going to play it clip by clip. It's muted, so don't worry about that. I have some subtitles on, but I'm going to be talking, so I didn't want to kind of be going against the grain with the show. So this looks like Riverlords and Starkmen, maybe the Winter Wolves, picking up the pieces of a battle they were in. Again, the Riverlords and Daemon are with Caraxes, and the Starks are marching across the neck, and the twins at the end of Season 2. They're allies. They're going to link up. The Lannisters were coming from the southwest. The Ormond Hightower's host is coming from even further southwest, and Kristen Cole's host is coming from the east. Those are also allied factions against Daemon, the Riverlords, and the Winter Wolves. So sort of multiple militaries on each side, allies on each side, kind of coming together, it looks like. Suspenseful music, Daemon, that's Daemon. Finally, as Kinzie said, the Rogue Prince is back. I agree. Finally, hey, buddy. My dog is also next to me, so don't mind him sneezing right now. God bless you. God bless you, buddy. He gets very passionate about House of the Dragon. But he's also Team Greens like me, so I'm talking about Daemon, so that's why he just scoffed. He wasn't into it. Daemon, just, he's in the muck, man. We're going to get some dragon fights. We're going to get the Battle of the Gullet, but we're also going to get these in the dirt fights, which are the ones that sort of made Game of Thrones famous in the first place. This is obviously Battle of the Gullet. Amongst this action and amongst the excitement, there will be some things that I think piss Chris and myself off as book purists, but that does look like Sheepstealer. I can't be positive that is Sheepstealer, but if it is Sheepstealer, I don't think Sheepstealer being ridden by Baela is something that we appreciate too much. At the end of Season 2, they made it pretty evident that Baela will be riding Sheepstealer, but that also, we just from this angle, it could be one of the other two dragons. It could be Moondancer. It could be, Vhagar for all I know from this angle. It's not Vhagar. High Septon gets a little shout out. Cool to see. I don't know. They haven't really used the High Septon much in this show. These are turbulent times. You're right. Again, very cool. This dragon is torching some bolts. The Battle of the Gullet is going to be epic. I really believe that. And it's supposed to be the first episode. That, again, is back to the pacing issues that HBO has created by making each season 8 episodes. If they release these seasons yearly, people wouldn't be complaining as much because, you get the action a lot quicker. When this show is done and you binge it, the pacing will probably be perfect. Season 1 was really well paced for what they had to cover. Season 2 was a slog, very slow. Season 3 looks like it's going to be action-packed from the word go. And then Season 4 is the end. But in order to binge it, you have to wait 8 years. I mean, come on. So as someone who used to work on boats, I will say, for the layperson, if you're not too familiar with boats or, just sort of nautical life, this would not be ideal, right? Even though you're surrounded by water, any kind of fire is really not preferred. If you could avoid it, do. That's Rhaenyra Targaryen. The HBO original series returns. These are Rhaenyra's dragons. You can see Caraxes there. There's no doubt that that's Caraxes, that long-ass neck, Daemon's dragon. And Vermithor behind him. Alicent Hightower talking to her son Aemond One Eye. Rhaenyra is coming. Alicent knows that for sure. And look, okay, this is not a spoiler. But to my eyes, this looks like Rhaenyra and her host of dragons paying a little visit to their neighbors in King's Landing. Keep in mind they are residing on Dragonstone, which is right across the water, and King's Landing is there for the taking. They've set up the fact that Rhaenyra is intending on taking King's Landing and the other trailers, and here we go. Rhaenyra on Cyrax, you got Daemon there on Caraxes. The winged out dragons, I believe, are Silverwing, which is Ulf Whites, and Vermithor, which is Hugh Hammer's. I would almost guarantee that. I'm sure Sea Smoke is there too with Alan of Hall. Okay, interesting. The greens are there, not much resistance. Didn't they set up last season that they were putting scorpions, the giant, slingshots, or I should say bows and arrows that shoot down dragons? I'm pretty sure they had those kind of ballista like all over the Red Keep. So I don't know. I would like to see. Hopefully, when they do take it, there is a bit of that going on. It doesn't need to be successful, but you did set up that they existed, so they better be firing off one or two. Just my 2 cents. Ormond Hightower with the Hightower host, very epic. Here he is. Interesting. No Daeron the Daring in any of the trailers that they've released. They've released 3. There's no Daeron the Daring. His Tessarion the Blue Queen, Daeron's dragon, in it a bunch. Ormond Hightower with the Hightower host, in it a bunch. No Daeron the Daring. Why the fuck aren't they showing Daeron? I don't know. No Otto in any of these either. I don't know. I think that Daemon's host is meeting with Ormond's host. They're having they're treating with each other, maybe to see if bloodshed can be avoided. I don't know how it can be. I don't know what the angle here is, but no Daeron, but they do have Tessarion, and here is Daemon, maybe across the field with a host of dragons. Obviously, Caraxes is behind him. Maybe Silverwing or Sea Smoke back there. Over Caraxes' shoulder, it looks like potentially Vermithor, the Bronze Fury. Greens on the ground. Daemon stabbing a guy, potentially Rhaenyra watching. Gotta be King's Landing, right? I mean, yeah, undoubtedly King's Landing, and there it is. So I don't think we saw Sea Smoke. I think we did see Silverwing, but Sea Smoke is definitely with them because Rhaenyra and Daemon are there with their dragon seeds. And the Gold Cloaks, man, still loyal after all these years to Daemon. Daemon really did. He gave them good funding. He must have been the best boss they ever had. Without further bloodshed. You're right, Rhaenyra. Without further... Hey, might be the most peaceful season yet, No more bloodshed. Hell yeah. All these plans work. I love this shot. Rhaenyra's dragons flying over King's Landing. Obviously, none of them are Cyrax, but it's her loyal dragons. You got Caraxes there, and again, either Silverwing or Sea Smoke. Sorry, I cannot tell. Corlys, the queen has many dragons. Small folk are scared. Alicent are scared, but her subjects do not feel safe, nor should they. Descent in the ranks. That's the hand of the queen. What? I don't know how long after, let's say, Rhaenyra takes King's Landing, because they do appear to be in a King's Landing type setup, he is saying this to Daemon. Like, how quickly, if she just goes straight at the capital and takes the King's Landing without torching innocents, then why wouldn't they feel safe? I don't know. Something has to happen for him to say this. Aemon One Eye and Vhagar, gotta be Harrenhal maybe? I don't know. Wherever it is, Aegon was like, it's a little cold in here, let's warm it up. Vhagar, do the honors. Aemon One Eye stabbing someone. He's got the sapphire eye right there. It's very cool. He looks neat. I see you have been merciful. Alicent thanking Rhaenyra. Alicent and Rhaenyra have my God. They forced scenes last season when they didn't have any reason to talk. Can you imagine now, if Alicent's her prisoner in King's Landing, how many scenes they're about to have? Oh my God. They still might sneak to each other, even though there's no reason to. She has her captive in the Red Keep, and they still are going to dress up. Again, I'm excited. I am excited. I'm sorry. Helena's having a rough time. I don't know if she gives birth. I don't know. It still would be hilarious if they have her give birth to Maelor this season, because they have not set up that she is pregnant. And that would be Ryan just trying to stick it to George. Oh yeah, you're pissed I didn't put this in your little dragon show? Well, guess what? Now I'm shoehorning it in. Again, this is what happens when you write yourself into a corner and then try to write yourself out of a corner. Nobody's fault but their own. All right, Helena's sad. The crown is a weight that crushes. Alicent's line still. Alicent says this to Rhaenyra. Alicent is so wise about the powers of the crown, I guess, from being around Viserys during peacetime. Whatever. Myceria, giving a little bit of side eye. I don't like that. This is from the Hightowers, whoever is opening this, because it's the green sigil with the yellow dragon. Again, apologies for my dog. Rhaenyra probably burning some Hightower sigilry, if that's even a word. Rhaenyra having a hard time sleeping. Again, heavy weighs the crown. You'll do things that spell death for all involved. I guess talking about the corruptive nature of the Iron Throne, which again, Rhaenyra now sits the throne. And if we get Dark Rhaenyra this season when she is, taking King's Landing, that would be sick, because that means it is corrupting. And again, Rhaenyra never is an outright evil person, I feel like, in the books, but she has an edge to her. She's not a perfect person. She's very flawed, because guess what? She's human. Dead folks, potentially Hightower. I think that the helmets there match what we were seeing from the Hightower army earlier. River Lords, Ormond Hightower, little by little. Rhaenyra feasting at King's Landing, maybe? Look at her. She's already getting into the politics. You gotta love it. Bite by bite, Ormond. I am so hyped with how much they're giving Ormond. I think that's a great sign. The actor who plays him is really good. I've seen him in a couple other things, and his name escapes me at the moment, but he is a really talented actor. There's a really good movie he's in with Amanda Seyfried where he plays kind of like a real sleazebag. And he's really just a shady character in it. But here's Rhaenyra in King's Landing. Queen of Bastards. The small folk are rejecting her, it looks like. Maybe not an outright rejection, but they're having a hard time with her. Daemon looking skeptical here. We're seeing a lot of the black. This is very much a Blacks-centric trailer. And I am seeing some skepticism in their ranks. Let's just put it that way. Rhaenyra, my enemies, music builds. They're introducing a lot of characters in this trailer as well, and I'm not sure who this guy is. I apologize for that. Have been allowed to muster their strength. Oh yeah, she's yelling this at Baela. Look at that. She's intense. Chess pieces. That's Caraxes flying over something. Rhaenyra being in bed, waking up to some probably horrid news. She's the queen, so all the shit rolls uphill. I know the expression is shit rolls downhill, but when you're on top of the totem pole, every bad thing goes up to you. Aemon Targaryen, she'll certainly fail. The Winter Wolves, let's go. They're going to lay siege to something, and I'm not sure what it is. But these are definitely the Winter Wolves. They're all old, long hair. That one dude has a ladder right there by the subtitles, and there's a castle in the distance. I'm not sure what castle the Winter Wolves lay siege to. And we'll raise our... Okay, so wait, I want to go back a little bit. The Winter Wolves getting hyped. The Winter Wolves are probably top 5 of my favorite little factions in like Westeros history, but also... they are pure aura. They love to get hyped before a battle. They get into it. They blow a horn. They bang their armor. They're sick. Black Aly, Alysanne Blackwood, a female warrior. And one of the few female warriors that we will see on screen that is not like a Targaryen. Like, she's like a Brienne of Tarth. She is a self-made woman who likes to battle. She is big into archery. You can see actually the bows behind her right shoulder. Or I should say the arrows. She's awesome. She's a badass in the books. I really hope she gets a lot of screen time. You could also see, I don't know if she's just hyped to fight or if she's kind of giving Daemon the eyes. There is some insinuation in the books, I think, that Black Aly and Daemon kind of have a thing, which also helps lead to Rhaenyra being a bit more edgy. We'll see if that plays out on screen. I don't know if they have enough time to do that. There is another character named Nettles that has some sort of weird thing with Daemon, I feel like. But Nettles has not been introduced in the show. In fact, Baela, Daemon's daughter, is sort of taking her place as the rider of Sheepstealer. At least that's what we believe. I guess we'll see. We'll see what ends up happening. And here's the Winter Wolves. Oh, I love the Winter Wolves. They are going to be epic, and I can tell from the way the show is portraying them. I will say, when you read these books and then you see the portrayal of them on TV, you're kind of like, oh, it's a little different than I thought it would look, like how you envision things when you read it versus seeing it, of course, is always going to be different. The Winter Wolves, they're kind of nailing how I pictured these guys, their vibes, their aura. These guys are big, like they're momentum guys. You know what I mean? As soon as the tide turns, they're like, okay, we got them right where we want them. All out fighters, chaos agents. And you see this guy blowing this horn right here. They are known for blowing a horn to signal we're going into battle, both as a intimidation tactic and as, more of a rallying cry as well. Ormond Hightower, and looks like Vhagar, so that is a friendly dragon to Ormond. Again, Ormond is a green and Aemon is on Vhagar. I don't know where this is. Potentially Tumbleton? Potentially, we'll see. I don't know how they're going to play Tumbleton, but I do believe that Tumbleton will come into play this season. That's Roddy the Ruin. Roderick Dustin from the North. He is one of the Winter Wolves. He leads the Winter Wolves. Of course, Cregan Stark is not with the Winter Wolves. He's the young Lord Stark, the Warden of the North, the Lord of Winterfell. He is gathering the main northern host. The Winter Wolves are not like their main host. It's an army of, I think, 2,000 to 5,000 old men that just come south to die, essentially. But the main, younger, stronger core host, it takes time for the North historically, and of course on House of the Dragon, to gather. Reason is because the North, again, as a region, is larger than the 6 other regions combined. So Cregan is back in the North gathering his, I think, some 20,000 strong, which in terms of armies in the world of Westeros is just massive. I love that war cry right there from Roderick. Daemon looks badass here. I love how badass he looks. He's looking very cool. He's got Caraxes back there. He's got his army of river lords. And he said, in a war, there's some greens, loosen some arrows. And again, all suffer. Daemon, good line. In war, all suffer. That's true, especially the small folk. Greens here, loosing some arrows. Looks like they're holding this small castle, and it's got to be in like the Westerland, Riverland area. So I'm not 100% sure where this is, but this does look similar in shape, size, the color of the stone to where the Winter Wolves are about to lay siege. So I assume that's what we're dealing with here. Are those the Winter Wolves? I mean, obviously, no clue. If it was Daemon and Caraxes, you think he would just strafe from the castle. That was Gwaine Hightower. Haven't seen much Gwaine. Gwaine, how are you, buddy? There's Gwaine Hightower. Killing somebody. Is this King's Landing? I don't know. Is this the castle where the Greens are in the last cut? Because that's not King's Landing. Hard to know. But spoiler alert, the music intensifies. Battle of the Gullet, again, as a person who worked on boats. You see this boat right here? One of the big things about boats that, the reason people use them, the appeal of boats, is that they sit on top of the water due to buoyancy. So that one being upside down and under the water is actually not achieving, unless it's a submarine, which it's not. Battle of the Gullet. This looks more to be the aftermath of the Gullet. This looks kind of like the end of what was pure chaos. Yeah, that boat is on a bit of fire there. Desolate, not even seeing men. It's almost like this is the closing moments of what was a truly harrowing battle. Winter Wolves doing a quick charge. The Greens loosing some arrows. Again, you loose arrows. You do not fire arrows. There's no flintlock at this point in time. They don't know what guns are. They don't know what gunpowder is. They are loosing arrows. The reason I say that is because to this day, watching season 8 of Game of Thrones when Euron is screaming fire makes me want to rip my ears off. Yeah, I love it. Is this Tumbleton? I don't know. But the Greens are holding this castle with their lives, and it looks like they're clearly under siege. So, interestingly, we've got Corlys Velaryon. And Corlys, interestingly enough, is not in his armor. He a lot of what we've seen of him in the previous, materials that they've released is also Gullet focused. This has to be post Gullet. There's fire behind him. Is it during Gullet? I don't know why he'd be out of his armor. It might be post. It might be him seeing the aftermath for the first time. That shot we saw earlier. But he's going through it a bit in this trailer, questioning Rhaenyra in his one scene, and then here, looking out at the desolation that he was part of. Daemon telling Rhaenyra she's come so far, but in the end, it didn't even matter. Cool cut there. Let's go back. That's Aemon's one eye at Harrenhal, but he's also he's in his undies. It looks like he's in his sleeping clothes. So I wonder, he gets there in his armor, he takes it with Vhagar, he goes to bed, and he wakes up and he kills more people. I don't know. Prediction. Here's Kristen Cole in the muck. There's a lot of battles from the books that this could be. Kristen gets in a lot of little ground skirmishes. Could be the Fish Feet, could be the Butcher's Ball, could be whatever name it is. But it might be based on the timeline and, how much they have to condense. I would assume it's a combination of a couple fights that they'll just put into one, which is fine. You could do that. I mean, They did it in Game of Thrones. They combined a lot of shit in Game of Thrones, and you can do it as long as you do it paced well throughout the season, right? It's the chicken and the egg thing. We saw it in season 2. Rhaenyra lighting some oh my god, these people and their candles. They love lighting. I bet Alicent's with her. This is the Tyroshi Pirates. They are the ones who start the Battle of the Gullet. So remember, at the end of season 2, this is just level setting things that we know. Corlys is blocking off King's Landing from the ocean, so they can't get supplies. They're going to starve out King's Landing. The small folk will revolt, right? That's the concept behind any siege, is creating so much discontent that it boils from within. The Greens hire these pirates to break the blockade. Pirates don't know this, but at the end of season 2 of House of the Dragon, Rhaenyra is sending her youngest children with Daemon, not with Daemon physically, but the kids that she made with Daemon, Aegon and Viserys, on a boat to Essos. So those kids are on a boat heading east to Essos. Coming from Essos on a boat west are these pirates. Collision course, right? Not a good sign for the children. Very good sign for a pirate army that is trying to, take advantage of the situation and put Rhaenyra's claim to the test. And of course, Corlys, as the, de facto, great uncle or whatever of all those children, is going to do what he can to stop and prevent that. But also the pirates, the kids are not really their goal. Their goal is to break the blockade. So it's going to be chaos. All right, I don't know what this is. It looks like a dream sequence to me. So here's my piece on this. This is Aemon One-Eye at Harrenhal. They did say in the 8 episodes of next season, there's one experimental episode that's going to be crazy and interesting and character-based. So for me, for my money, this is going to be Aemon One-Eye at Harrenhal. We're going to do a 1-episode condensed version of what Daemon went through last season. He's going to have bad dreams. Alice Rivers is going to mess with him. Owl Theory. Do you guys know Owl Theory? Are you guys familiar with Owl Theory? She joked that she was an owl, but also Owl Theory watch the Staircase documentary, and then you slide into Deep Thrones Pod's DMs. Let us know what you think about Owl Theory. Maybe that's not even Aemon, but I feel like it is. Here is King Viserys' toys. Rhaenyra probably having a scene with these to honor her late father. And have you not betrayed your queen? Watch Rhaenyra here. Look at her. Look at the intensity. Is this Dragonstone? I don't know. It kind of has Dragonstone vibes, but behind her is Mysaria the White Worm, so she's part of this conversation. But Rhaenyra clearly has a room full of individuals there that she is yelling at. Oh yeah, she just looked at multiple people, and Mysaria is in the corner, so big room of folks. Her council, I'm not sure. Gullet aftermath, I'd guess, or that's Vhagar, I think. So Gullet during math. Rhaenyra saying, "Bring Aegon." A dragon's egg. I don't know who's holding it. Hard to tell. A Targaryen and someone else. Aegon the Usurper. There he is. There's our sweet prince. Look at him. Our king, technically. He is in rough shape. But you rub some aloe on that, he'll be right as rain. Baela. Probably pretty early in the season. I would guess this is episode 1. Maybe right away. Her claiming sheep stealer. And then the gullet happens at the end of the episode. To me, bring Aegon the Usurper to me. The tears in her eyes, but also like the look on her face, like she's resolute in her decision making. Do we have Mad Queen Rhaenyra? No, that's not going to happen. But we are going to get an individual that realizes that certain sacrifices need to be made to become the ruler of a kingdom that was built on fire and blood. I also am curious. They're very, very intentional in all of their promotional materials. They have not shown Rhaenyra once in the throne room. She will sit. I mean, they did in like a poster, but it wasn't. It was like an AI made poster. If I'm being honest, it wasn't like her being crowned and sitting on the throne. Which, rest assured, if she takes King's Landing like it looks like she's going to, she's definitely going to sit the throne at one point. And I'm curious to see if she cuts herself on the throne. Because, of course, in lore of Westeros, kings and queens who get cut by the throne, it's a throne rejecting them. I don't think the show would have her get cut by the throne. But you never know. I mean, after how they've portrayed her in the first 2 seasons, I'm sure the throne will be very accepting. But you never know how they play it. Regardless, the scene of her sitting the throne for the first time will be very powerful. Sitting the throne for the first time as, like, the actual conqueror queen of Westeros. She wasn't supposed to be a conqueror. She was supposed to inherit it, but she got usurped by the Greens and Otto and Aegon and Alicent and Aemon. But we'll see. This is like a cave, and it's got to be a dragon doing some shit. This again, now, much like the boats, I've been a human for a very long time. And this too right here, I'm going to circle it with the mouse. You don't want that. That's not what you're looking for day to day. Alicent, I feel like, is going to have a bunch of scenes alone where she gasps and goes, because it's just the nature of Alicent at this point, understanding what she has wrought. Season 1, remember when she was literally trying to stab out one of Rhaenyra's children's eyes? And now she's like, hey, yo, by the way, we're going to be gone on Tuesday, Rhaenyra. Good time to invade, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. We'll see what they do with Alicent. She's one of my favorite characters in the books. And Olivia Cook's portrayal is amazing. It always boils down to writing with these shows. Always. Daemon? Don't know where. The internet seems to think he's at Tumbleton here, which he's not at in the books, but he could be in the show. I think having a character like him at Tumbleton makes sense because it will keep the watchers really engaged. And it's not like it's a huge leap for him to be there. It doesn't not make sense. He flies Caraxes and Harrenhal to Tumbleton to King's Landing. In terms of Westeros' scope is pretty minimal travel, especially on a dragon. It's not like it's by the wall or something. Love this. Are these armies converging? I don't know. Are they friendly combatants from some sides? Are they circling an enemy, or are those enemies on different sides? It's hard to be sure, but great, cool angle nonetheless. Jace on his dragon in the Battle of the Gullet. Flying a little low there, Jace. Get airborne, breathe some fire, buddy. Let's get some boats out of the way here. Did I not warn you that you would come to this? Look at the shot of Rhaenyra. Is this the Rhaenyra? Is this a Rhaenyra that is accepting of her fate? That's saying to herself, you know what? Fine. You want to play rough? I can play rough. Or is this a Rhaenyra that's guilty and it's like, oh, you know what? You're right. I reject that. I apologize for that. I regret that. I'm going to be the queen that the show season 1 and 2 wants me to be. And dramatic music plays. We get the 3-headed sigil. Sunday, June 21st. Be there with the Deep Thrones pod. We want you there. Please join us. Again, we're going to have about 10 episodes, 8 covering the season. 1 for a little prelude to the season, a little, hey, here's what to expect, here's what we saw. And the final one, of course, being the Thronies. Thank you guys for listening. Like, share, subscribe. This is going out on YouTube, and the Deep Thrones pod will be back in a couple of weeks on all podcast apps and YouTube. Y'all have a good one.
Whips, check out the handle, switch, shooters on swoosh, hitters don't miss. Aria just added a ton of y'all to my list. Bitch, death wish, not to be messed with, tested quiz. They shooting shots.